Malik Wright. Up all day and all night, pushing all the buttons up to something till it's alright. He looking at it from all sides and angles. He got the stripes on his body like he played for the Bengals. Oh man, there's no one discussing it. They came, they stayed, they either did it or done it. And I love it, cause all they ever do is win. So kick back, relax, the TWSN.
Welcome back to the Sit Down with Malik Wright, presented by First Star Logistics. I'm your host, Daniel Alameda. And as always, we've got a jam-packed show for you today. We've got a lot of topics ranging from Joe Burrow versus Patrick Mahomes. We've got topics like, are the Baltimore Ravens the most overrated team? We've got a lot of different topics to talk about today. But if you're watching this, make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel and like this video for more content. Our YouTube channel is filled with sports betting. We've got daily content coming out every single day. So if you guys are watching, make sure to go like and subscribe. But as always, we're going to start it out here. And we're live, once again from the First Star Logistics studio. We're going to start it out with our first topic. Joe Burrow or Patrick Mahomes? Who is the better quarterback? And I mean, we're live from Cincinnati, and we had a huge game here. And we're the talk of the town. We're the talk of, all of sports media right now. And to be honest, it feels great because we've sat up on the show, Malik, time and time again, talking about the Cincinnati Bengals, talking about the Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. And it's just beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to see that the mainstream media and everybody is finally catching on to what we've been saying in the offseason, during the beginning of the season. And it's a beautiful thing to see now. Malik, how are you doing?
Well, first and foremost, barely have a voice, but I'm here. Like I said I would be, win, lose, or draw. I also want to make mention, our co-host Meg is not with us on the show today. But Meg, we hope that you feel better. We're missing you on the show, and we're going to keep it rolling for you. Happy to be live here from the First Star Logistics studio here in Cincinnati, Ohio. Big game yesterday. Huge game yesterday. I just want to start out by saying, I said on the State of the Jungle, just make sure the respect is just as loud as the disrespect was. There was a lot of disrespect coming towards the Bengals' way. There was a lot of disrespect coming towards Joe Burrow's way. There was a lot of people that said the Kansas City Chiefs are going to beat the Cincinnati Bengals. The Kansas City Chiefs are the measuring stick. I sat up here week one, and I said to everybody, the Bengals are the team to beat in the AFC. I got ridiculed. I had people telling me, you don't know ball. You don't know what you're talking about. Well, apparently I do know what I'm talking about. Chiefs fans are in their feelings. Chiefs fans are pissed. Chiefs fans are upset. Why? Because they are officially 0-3 against Joe Burrow, Joe Shiesty, and them boys. Listen, I hate to say I told you so, but who am I kidding? I'd love to say that I told you so. But listen, we already know that the Bengals are the better team than the Chiefs. We already know that the Bengals are the measuring stick in the AFC. We already know all those things. We already know that the Bengals are going to go to the Super Bowl this year. But I'll tell you something that we're not talking about enough. The gap between Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow is not as large as people make it out to be. It isn't. Listen, Joe Burrow might not do things the most flashiest, but he gets the job done. And there were a lot of people that said Joe Burrow's a check down merchant. Joe Burrow can't win without Jamar Chase. Joe Burrow can't get other receivers involved. And he did all those things. He went undefeated in the month of November. The people said, oh, you guys want me to beat the Chiefs? The Chiefs, this is a revenge game. Revenge for who? Chiefs haven't beat the Bengals since 1984 in our house. The fact of the matter is, I said it on here on week one, and I said it. I'm going to say it again. The Cincinnati Bengals are the team to beat in the AFC. The AFC goes through Cincinnati. Whoever needs to hear that, I hope that you hear me out. I hope that you come to reason with yourself. I don't care about how great you do in a division that isn't as competitive as the AFC North, because the AFC North is the toughest division in football. It is. The fact of the matter is, the Cincinnati Bengals are the team to beat in the AFC. Damn it, I'll say it. The Cincinnati Bengals might be the team to beat in the NFL because they're catching fire. Daniel.
Yeah, man. I mean, once again, Malik, I know the entire audience is loving this, right? They saw you give a huge passionate speech before the game. And one thing that we like to do here is, we like to talk about the narratives before games. And I think it's important that we really talk about it, right? Before the season, what was the narrative? The Cincinnati Bengals weren't on the same level of the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs. They got lucky. They start off the year, okay, last year was a fluke. Heading into this game against the Chiefs, it was the same thing. Patrick Mahomes is on another level than Joe Burrow, and we're going to talk about it.
I do want to question that. What level are we talking about? Because let me tell you something right now. Colton, roll the clip. There's a clip of Joe Burrow making an absurd throw to ice the game. Roll that clip real quick.
It's at the bottom of the screen, but Burrow's going the other way, and he's got Higgins, and he dives for the touchdown. What a play by T. Higgins.
Why this offense is darn near unstoppable, because he, over the last 2 weeks, led the NFL in receiving with chases up.
So, I mean, you look at it, and that's not even the clip that I wanted. I wanted the clip that he got. He caught the ball to ice the game, which was the first down. That was an absurd throw with a defender in his face. All I'm simply sitting up here saying, NFL fans, media, national media, the reason why I came to Cincinnati is because I wanted to be the hashtag new media, to get rid of all the biases. And listen, they talk about people they shouldn't be talking about. They talk about teams they shouldn't be talking about. People should put more respect on the Bengals' name. They say, oh, the Bengals Super Bowl season was a fluke. The Bengals are showing you that last year was not a fluke. It wasn't a fluke. Guess what? They made believers out of everybody last year, and they started off 0-2. We wrote them off, right? Not we, but they, the media, wrote them off. They said, hey, the Bengals got there by luck. The Bengals didn't deserve to be there. And the Bengals have done nothing since then but prove people wrong. When undefeated in the month of November, nobody's talking about it. We're talking about the Ravens. We're talking about the Chiefs. We're talking about the Bills. Guess what? And y'all want to talk about a rivalry? It can't be a rivalry if you can't win a damn game. The fact of the matter is, I'm tired. I'm tired of the disrespect that goes the Bengals' way. There's been too many people that are too used to the Bengals sucking, too many people used to the Bengals being the Bungles, that they can't admit that the Bengals are actually good and they are building something consistent. So I have a question for those who are listening, for those who are watching. What is the gap between Mahomes and Burrow outside of an MVP and a Super Bowl? Well, I'm talking about the two quarterback positions. What is the gap between them? Why would one person say I would rather have Mahomes over Burrow? Because guess what? I was watching that game live from the First Star Logistics suite. And guess what? I watched both of those guys, and I saw Joe Burrow look like a surgeon. I saw Mahomes, and Mahomes is an amazing talent. The way he's able to do sidearm throws, and he has a huge arm, very talented quarterback. But if you ask me, mental processing and things of that nature, who's the better quarterback? I'm taking Joe Burrow over every quarterback in the National Football League. That is not a BS take. That is the truth. I'm just trying to figure out what is the gap. What is the gap outside of our biases? What is it? Tell me, Daniel. What is it?
It's funny. There is no gap. And people are afraid to, actually dive into something that isn't what the mainstream media is talking about. Heading into this year, once again, it was, okay, Joe Burrow, he's not elite at anything. And I'm going to make a statement right now that normally Meg would be making right here. She said, and I'm going to give her props. She said, Joe Burrow is the next Tom Brady. And I truly believe that, right? And if we want to actually dissect what that means, when you look at what Tom Brady did with the Patriots, and we talked about this all the time, Malik, he went into the Patriots weren't a huge name before Tom Brady. In 10 years from now, we're going to look at the Cincinnati Bengals and what Joe Burrow has done. And we're going to look at them as maybe the next dynasty. We're going to look at them as perennial Super Bowl contenders. We're going to look at them as perennial playoff contenders. And that's something that the mainstream media, that's something that everybody else isn't willing to talk about, right? And some people may call me crazy with what I'm saying, but when you take a step back, put your bias aside, Joe Burrow, he has longevity in his game. He's shown that he doesn't need a Jamar Chase to have a successful NFL career. He's shown that the past couple of games. Joe Burrow has changed the culture inside the Cincinnati Bengals locker room. Obviously, it's a team atmosphere, and obviously it's a team environment, but Joe Burrow has proven that him alone, that he is on the level of the Patrick Mahomes. So it is disrespectful when, people before the season said, okay, Mahomes, he was won a Super Bowl. Burrow hasn't. Mahomes has won an MVP. Burrow hasn't. And something that our producer Colton told me before, the show started? He said that the MVP odds, and for those of you who know me as a, huge betting guy, Mahomes is currently plus 100. Jalen Hurts is currently plus 190. Patrick Mahomes is plus 900. Plus 900 at 8-4.
Joe Burrow's plus 900. Joe
Burrow plus 900 after beating Patrick Mahomes. Like, For me, I don't understand that. It once again shows that the mainstream media, they're not willing to crown the Cincinnati Bengals for what they've done. If any other team has overcome what they've overcome, they put them as the number one power ranking. They put them up there with everybody else. They put Joe Burrow in that conversation. Some people aren't even putting him up there, and I don't know why.
Well, Joe Burrow said something interesting in his press conference. He said he's not worried about individual awards. He's worried about a Lombardi trophy. That's what he's worried about. That's what he's fixated on. So they can crown these little guys, all the MVPs and Players of the Year and all that stuff award. It's very clear to me that this Bengals football team is a team on a mission right now. And guess what? Y'all thought that the Bengals were going somewhere. I had to come into the studio today wearing Joe Burrow's jersey. And I asked people on Twitter, should I come in MJ's jersey or should I come in Joe Burrow's jersey? People said Joe Burrow, right? I'm going to go to jersey, simple as that. And the fact of the matter is, people have to get used to the Cincinnati Bengals being a staple in the AFC. We are now the measuring stick in the AFC. Now, I get it. We still got to face the Bills, and we will. We'll get to them. Trust me. We'll get to them. I promise you we will. But guess what? People have got to get used to the uncomfortable. One thing in life I always say is get comfortable in the uncomfortable. And a lot of people have to get used to Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals being the talk of the league, being the talk of the AFC, being the measuring stick. When you face the Cincinnati Bengals now, it's like, I want to know how good my team is because we're going against the Cincinnati Bengals. We are changing the guard in Cincinnati. Bengals fans, look at me and listen to me. The Cincinnati Bengals are now the measuring stick in the AFC. Take pride in that. Be excited for that because this is something that we probably haven't had to say since the 1980s. And I think that we have the opportunity to surpass that, even though the Bengals went to two Super Bowls in the 1980s. I think the Cincinnati Bengals are going to win the Super Bowl this year. I'll be the first one to say, I think the Bengals are going to win the Super Bowl this year. And I think when it's all said and done, Joe Burrow is going to bring a couple of championships to the city of Cincinnati. But I'm telling you right now, Bengals fans, walk with a sense of pride. The new mantra for the Bengals is they got to play us. Take pride. This is what it looks like having a franchise quarterback. This is what it looks like having a competent organization. This is what it looks like. This is what success looks like. Take pride in it. Be excited about it. Because guess what? It doesn't come around quite often, right? But take pride in what we're doing. Take pride in who you got at quarterback. Take pride in what the Cincinnati Bengals accomplished. Because last year was no fluke. Last year was just us getting started.
I think that's exactly what every single Bengals fan needs to hear. Take pride in this, right? And it's something special, as you said. There isn't a lot of time in sports. And as Bengals fans, I mean, especially, the long-term Bengals fans, you guys know what it's like to have a losing season. You know what it's like to deal with the heartbreak. And right now, the fact of the matter is, any other team, it could have been easy. Look at the Rams, a one-year wonder, right? They went out and bought a Super Bowl. This is a team this is long-term success. And that's very rare in sports. You look at any other team. When I look at the NFL, what team has had consistent success year after year after year? I can point at the Patriots. I can point at the Chiefs. Besides that, not many other teams can say that. So take pride in it. I think that the Cincinnati Bengals the Bengals fans also understand this, but for NFL fans in general, pay more attention to what the culture is like in the locker room. This Cincinnati Bengals team is extremely tight. You look at the post-game press conference. You look at, what Zach Taylor's handing out game balls, and the team has a sense of unity, right? Everybody's calling for Zach Taylor's head at the beginning of the year, and now look at it. Look at it, right? So I think that it's something that all Bengals fans should extremely, be proud of. So, Malik, I know we talk a lot about the Super Bowl. You just claimed that the Bengals are going to win the Super Bowl this year.
It's not a prediction. It's a spoiler.
Let's look at a team that many others have predicted, to make the Super Bowl. And obviously, Jimmy Garoppolo is no longer their quarterback. He got hurt yesterday. Colin, roll the clip of their new quarterback or potential new quarterback, Brock Purdy.
Purdy underneath for the touchdown. It's McCaffrey.
So the question now is, can the 49ers still make a Super Bowl without Jimmy Garoppolo? That's the question. It's an honest question, right? It sounds kind of funny because Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't even the starter at the beginning of the season. I think that they can. I think that they can. It's going to be a struggle. But when you look at the 49ers, and you have to take a back seat, look at the NFC, right? The NFC is not the AFC. The AFC has juggernauts like the Cincinnati Bengals with Burrow, like the Kansas City Chiefs, like Mahomes, like the Buffalo Bills with Josh Allen. When you look at the Eagles or the NFC, there is no proven team, right? You can look at the Eagles and say they're 11-1. Jalen Hurts still has to prove himself in the playoffs. So the 49ers, what did they prove to me yesterday, right? People can say, oh, well, they need Jimmy Garoppolo. They don't need Jimmy Garoppolo to make a Super Bowl. Brock Purdy led them to a victory, a double-digit victory against a team that is one of the best teams in the NFL with the Miami Dolphins. So how can they make the Super Bowl? They can make it with their defense. They can make it with a quarterback playing competent offense, being a game manager. That's all that they need, right? Jimmy Garoppolo made a Super Bowl a couple years ago with them. Brock Purdy, what did he prove to me? He proved to me that he can play against cover zero defense being blitzed at him every single snap. That's what I saw with the Dolphins. They blitzed him on almost, 50% of snaps yesterday, right? They threw the entire bag at him and it still didn't work. So the 49ers need to find a quarterback that fits their system, whether that's bring in Baker Mayfield and try that route out. But as long as their defense is still elite, I'm confident they can go up against any team in the NFC. They can go up and beat the Seahawks. They can go up and frustrate Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. They can go out and even frustrate Jalen Hurts because they proved against Tua that if you can disrupt the quarterback, right? If you can disrupt the quarterback, you have a chance to make the Super Bowl. And I think that they have a punch of shot. So it's going to be interesting to see what quarterback they roll with. But as long as they have Kyle Shanahan there, as long as they have their defense there, I still think that they have a shot to make the Super Bowl.
I think Kyle Shanahan's a phenomenal coach. I think that the Niners can. I think if Brock Purdy gets coached up well, I think the biggest thing is they need a guy that won't make a lot of mistakes. And I believe that Kyle Shanahan is a good enough coach to get a lot out of the quarterback position. I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo is amazing. I think Jimmy Garoppolo is a game manager. I think Jimmy Garoppolo fits the system because he's a smart quarterback. He tries to play turnover-free football, and it works with the Niners offense. So I'm not going to say that they can't make the Super Bowl because I think Kyle Shanahan is that good of a coach. I'm really curious, especially since Baker Mayfield just got released. I'm really curious if they make a run at Baker Mayfield. And I know he's a turn the football over magician, so to speak. But it wouldn't shock me if the Niners made a play on Baker Mayfield. They're one of the few quarterback needy teams right now, right? That have the opportunity to do something special. They view Baker Mayfield as a guy that they can win with, and they might go after him. I'm really curious after, later on today when I talk to some people, if that's something that the Niners might do. And I kind of want to know why he was released as well.
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, that is a good question. I don't know why necessarily he was released. I still think he deserves a shot. He deserves a shot somewhere. And Brock Purdy, he looked okay. He looked good. Kyle Shanahan, in the post-game press conference said he loved the fact that he took deep shots, right? He loved the fact that he even said there was a shift when it went from Jimmy Garoppolo to Brock Purdy. He felt like his offense was more willing to take those downfield shots. So the 49ers, as you said, they need somebody that's going to play turnover-free football. And if they're going to make a Super Bowl, if they're going to have success in the playoffs, it's going to be because Kyle Shanahan schemed some things up for Brandon Ayuk. Kyle Shanahan schemed some things up for Deebo Samuel. It's not going to be because of their quarterback. So I'm very curious to see how their defense, continues to perform.
I also wouldn't discount the Rams going after Baker Mayfield as well. That's what I'll say.
The Rams are an absolute. They need something different. The Rams are a crapshoot right now. They need something to spark. I mean, we talked about it earlier. A couple weeks ago. I think Sean McVay's done. Their team as a whole is done, and it's just sad to see. But the 49ers, I still think that it's going to come down to, honestly, if they can stifle Jalen Hurts. That's the big question, right? Jalen Hurts has looked great throughout the season, but he's also proven that against defenses that can pressure him, he tends to struggle a lot. So I want to switch it over to a team that sits here in the AFC North. I want to talk about the Baltimore Ravens for a little bit, right? I want to talk about the team that everybody was crowning as the AFC North champs, that everybody was crowning as the best team that, they headed into the year with the highest odds to win the division. They headed into the year with a former MVP at quarterback. I know Lamar Jackson got hurt. It sounds like, he's not going to be out for the entire year. But even without or with Lamar Jackson, with or without, the Ravens aren't them. The Ravens are finished, right? Lamar Jackson has a ceiling to him. And if people believe that they can still win the division, I think that's crazy, right? Last week, they lost to the Jaguars with Lamar Jackson. So I look at this team, they have no punch. They have no, ceiling to their team. It's a very basic offense to where it's a run first offense, and they don't have a number one receiver. They don't have an extra punch. It's, if you can stop Mark Andrews, even if Mark Andrews gets going, there is no ceiling to their offense. So I think the Ravens are finished, and I just hope that everybody else catches on to where we're going to see a year from now, this team's going to look completely different than what they are right now.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm really curious to see the extent of Lamar Jackson's injury. Doesn't sound like a season ending, but I think that things are shaping up for the Ravens to have, a lot of decisions to make down the stretch here. I also think the AFC North is wide open still for, between the Bengals and the Ravens. I really, really do. So it's going to be, honestly, it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays down at the stretch. I think Lamar, Meg is in the comment section. Meg, she says Lamar is being extra cautious. Put some of these comments up. But Lamar is being extra cautious for that new contract. I expect him to be cautious, especially taking care of his body and things of that nature. It'll be interesting to see how it all shakes out. I mean, but are the Ravens finished this season? I think that this is sort of the beginning of the end, though. I do.
It completely is. And it's hard to see everybody else talk about the Ravens, before the year that they were these huge juggernauts. They weren't. Nobody should have ever viewed the Ravens as a juggernaut. They're a fine team. They're a team that can win a game. But I mean, we saw what their numbers were at the beginning of the year. They blew close games time and time again. And I don't see that changes. There's no acquisition that they can make right now. There's no acquisition that they can make in the offseason that will put them over that hump. No matter what, the way this team is currently constructed right now, they don't have an elite defense. So the way I view the Ravens, in some magical world, if they had a top 2 defense, then maybe they can, make the Super Bowl. But right now, in order for them to rely on their offense in the playoffs against these other teams, I'm sorry, I don't see a world where Lamar Jackson and this team makes the Super Bowl.
I just want to say this one last thing. There's nothing to do about Lamar Jackson. I noticed that what we don't have as a topic are those Miami Dolphins. I told you what was going to happen.
Yeah.
I told you that the Niners are going to beat them.
Yeah.
I just got to say it, man. The Miami Dolphins are, they're a good team. They're a fine team. A lot of people crowned them, and they were ready to say that they were going to be this, going to be that. And I'm not saying Daniel was one of those people, but I am going to say that they went up against another tough team, and they lost. They lost to the Bengals. So what I see from this Miami Dolphins team, whenever they go up against stiff competition, they tend to fold. Tua didn't have his best game.
Not at all.
Things of that nature. But again, he's a very good game manager, a guy that's able to get the ball to his playmakers. I don't think we should make more of the guy than what he is, personally. I think he's a fine quarterback. He's not a world beater, nor am I saying that you said that. But I just think that this should be humbling. It should be humbling for a lot of people. He went up against a real tough team, and he struggled. So again, hate to say I told you so, but who am I kidding? I love to say I told you so. I expected this.
The season's not over.
Nobody ever said the season was over. But what I simply said was they went up against a tough team. And I told my dad, I called my father, and I said, "Hey, Dad, Father, I know you're a Dolphins fan, Father, but the fact of the matter is, y'all not ready for them. It seemed like y'all wasn't ready for the Bengals. You're not ready for the San Francisco 49ers." He told me I didn't know what I was talking about. Dad, I know you watch every single show. Clearly, I do know what I'm talking about. Take your son's advice. Trust me, your team is not them, but you guys are talented.
I agree. They lost to a very tough team, and their team needs something different. They need something to happen, because if the way that their team is currently trending, they have a top 10 offense. Tua leads, a great offense, but it's when teams can stifle them at the beginning of the game. And that's what I noticed. When I was watching that game, I saw Tua. If you can get him out of a rhythm, that's the game plan to success, especially because their defense is absolute dog water right now. Their defense sucks.
You know what's funny? People really had Tua Tagovailoa. Or is that my name right?
Tagovailoa.
Right.
Tagovailoa.
Tua turned the ball over, but people had him in the MVP conversation. Where? Come on now. I mean, I understand you can only play who's in front of you, but if you watch film and you watch this guy, I think you don't walk away. I don't walk away impressed. I see underthrown balls and stuff like that, but I do give him credit. He does get the ball to his playmakers, and I think that there's still a place for a guy like that to be successful in this league still.
Yeah. Tua can still have a lot of success.
Nobody ever said he didn't. I just said the MVP level that people were putting him on, he's not that.
Yeah. He can still, we need to see Tua beat one of these tough teams. That's the fact of the matter. There's nothing that I could say that, can change the fact that they lost to a Brock Purdy led team. There's nothing I could say. So I'm just curious to see, how does Tua, how does Mike McDaniel, how do they rebound from this? Because their game plan got completely thrown out of the window. It seemed like, as soon as Jimmy Garoppolo went out, the game, it was like, hey, like they kind of sat back and like, all right, we should win this game, but they didn't, right? And it took till the fourth quarter for Tua and the offense to finally get rolling again. So I'm curious to see what happens after this week, right? Tua hurt his ankle. So he did hurt his ankle, but I'm just excited to see. I want to see this team turn this around, right? Because they still have a top 10 offense, and I want to see them go through the muddy waters. I want to see them go through the tough tasks, go throughout the entire game, and I want to see them. I know you're making fun of me right now, but I'm hurt after that because they start out the game good. They start out the game with a 75-yard touchdown, quick slant, easy. Mike McDaniel, great play calling, good start, and then they blew the game. That was their game in their hands. So the Dolphins right now, they're not Super Bowl contenders right now. They need to turn around because they're not on the same tier of the Bengals. They're not on the same tier of the Chiefs, the Bills right now. So we'll see what happens. But I want to switch it over to the Los Angeles Lakers. I want to go to the NBA for a second, right? I want to go the Lakers. What is going on, right? At the beginning of the year, it was LeBron. Is he going to be done? Anthony Davis, is he going to be done? But now it's, are they back? Anthony Davis just put up 54 points. Like what are we talking about? Anthony Davis, Colin, roll the clip.
Shooting is atrocious. 3 for 19. Lob, the jam. Hello. LeBron to AD.
The traditional hook shot lob, and then it was set up perfectly.
Oh man, Anthony Davis, this Los Angeles Lakers, they're a funny team to watch, right? And it's just weird to see Anthony Davis finally put it all together. Like what are we doing? Like, how is it now taking this for Anthony Davis to get it going? His past 8 games have been the best of the entire year. I haven't even seen Luka play this guy. I haven't even seen Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum is the MVP candidate, is the leading MVP candidate right now. But Anthony Davis is on a whole nother level. So what is it taking, right? How is this possible? So are they finals contenders? No, but with Anthony Davis and LeBron James playing at their best right now, they can beat anybody.
I'll say this. They might not be finals contenders just yet. What they are doing is they're making the Los Angeles Lakers into a perennial destination that trade targets and things of that nature might want to go to. They also are elevating the value of Russell Westbrook and other players. So that way, when the trade deadline does come around, they might be able to get a certain player in Brooklyn named Kyrie Irving, and they might get what they want because Kyrie Irving's trade value is tanked.
Yep.
Russell Wilson's value is going up. Russell Westbrook's value is going up. The players around him's value is going up. Those draft picks are less enticing for the Lakers because they see what they can accomplish. Now, if you add a Kyrie Irving to the mix or a Buddy Hield or a Miles Turner to the mix, now we're actually cooking. So what I think is going to happen is I think the Lakers are going to actually trade for some assets. I'm sticking to my prediction. Kyrie Irving will not finish this season as a Brooklyn Net. He will not. I think he'll be a Los Angeles Laker very, very shortly. And I think that the Lakers are playing really good ball right now. I think Darvin Ham needs to get, hats off to him. He's got those boys balling right now. And I think that it's getting to the point now we're back to where it was before. We should never count out a LeBron, Anthony Davis-led basketball team.
The NBA is all about storylines, Malik. It's all about storylines, and this is the perfect storyline, right? And the only thing that can derail this is an injury to Anthony Davis. So what I'm going to tell the Lakers is, yes, he is on this huge run. Yes, you are adding, value to Russell Westbrook, but Anthony Davis, protect yourself. Like, it's okay.
No.
No.
No. We're not going to do that.
Yes, we are.
No, we're not.
Yes,
no,
we
we're
are.
not. I'm going to tell you why. Because Anthony Davis, the last couple of years, has been focusing too much on managing his injury and managing body. As a player, you can't control what happens to you. You don't know what if an injury is going to happen. Don't even let that thought. Don't even listen to Daniel. Don't let that thought creep in. No, listen. Don't let that thought creep in your mind. I'm like, to protect myself because I don't want to get injured. No. Go out there, continue to play the best ball that you've been playing, the same way Giannis has. Darvin Ham had Giannis playing great, the same way Jokic has. Jokic refuses to miss a game. Don't even think about an injury because sometimes you can psych yourself out. Keep playing your ball. Yeah, keep playing ball, brother. Don't take any lapses. Don't do what do they call it? Load management. Don't do any of that crap. If you can play and you're still playing at a high level to help your basketball team, you do it because guess what? Clearly you're an X factor out there. But no, there's no reason to even start talking about his injuries and stuff like that. Let's not even talk about that. I don't want to do that on the show. We're not talking about his injuries and stuff like that. Keep playing the best ball that you've been playing. Whatever happens, happens. Let's move on.
All right, we're moving on. And if you want to start your career, if you're looking for a job, make sure to apply to First Star Logistics as a broker, right? This is a place where, I mean, we were at the First Star Logistics suite yesterday, and we were surrounded by employees. And this is a place where it's engaging. There's a lot. It's a great atmosphere. You can make unlimited amount of money, and that's the thing. A lot of people have entrepreneurial mindset, and they have, they don't want to put a ceiling on their career, and this is the place to do it, right? You can start your career off with a great environment, with great team members, and this is the place. So if you're looking for a career, make sure to apply. Link in the description. Go apply for Star Logistics. Malik, how was the game yesterday in the suite yesterday?
Oh, it was awesome, man. The atmosphere was amazing. Everybody was cheering. Everybody was all hyped up. I mean, kind of hugs and high fives that was going around when the Bengals were, beating on the Chiefs. It was awesome. It was a fantastic game to be at as well. Just saw how crazy it went when Jermaine Pratt stripped Travis Kelce, and then you got that last sack by just Josiah on the end from Patrick Mahomes. It was just really an awesome atmosphere. I mean, I also think the Bengals have one of the best experiences, game day experiences in the NFL. And watching it from the suite and seeing it live in action was just awesome. Watching those two quarterbacks do what they do best was just amazing. So hanging out with first-star employees, and really just enjoying it. And the food was awesome. Yeah, really just enjoying it. It was really, really awesome. So like Daniel said, if you're looking to start your career as a broker, make sure you apply to First Star Logistics. The link is all down in this.
So we're going to switch it over to our final topic, Money Monday, where we're going to talk about the Monday Night Football game, the Buccaneers versus the Saints. This is a game where Tom Brady struggles against the Saints. And normally Meg would be here, helping us out with our bets. But I've got 3 bets for you. And I know we talked about one earlier, but I'm going to switch it up. I want to go my first bet of the game. I'm taking the under, Buccaneers versus the Saints. And the reason why I'm taking the under on this game is it's a divisional game, right? Anytime you look at divisional games, they play each other tough, and especially the Buccaneers versus the Saints. Earlier this year, they combined for 30 points. Last year, they combined for, in their first matchup, not 9 total points. So when I look at this game, yes, you've got Tom Brady, but Tom Brady always struggles against the Saints. And when I look at the Saints, their offense has lacked a punch in the past couple of weeks, right? Andy Dalton is a fine quarterback, yes, but the Buccaneers front 7 is elite, right? And I think that front 7 is going to get to Tom Brady, regardless of the injuries on the secondary. And I love this low scoring game. I'm taking the under 41.5. For my second prop, I like Alvin Kamara, and I'm going his over receptions. I'm taking Alvin Kamara over 4.5 receptions. The reason why I like this prop so much is because people, once again, I like the front 7 against the run, but against the pass, Levante David, Devin White hasn't been playing the best ball, in pass coverage. Alvin Kamara has been an elite outlet for Andy Dalton, and I know that they've got Chris Olave, but in games like this, divisional matchups, you're going to go to your running back, check down screens. I love Alvin Kamara over receptions. And my last bet of the day, I'm taking Tom Brady under passing yards. And once again, people are like, under passing yards, Tom Brady? Listen, I think that this game, it's going to be a slugfest. And there's thoughts about, okay, is Leonard Fournette playing? Is he not? Regardless, we have Rachaad White. And we saw last week, Rachaad White absolutely balled out. We saw the week before, he put up 100 rushing yards. So whether they have Leonard Fournette, whether they don't have him, they're going to be running the ball. And I'm taking Tom Brady over 275 against the Saints with their front 7. I think Cam Jordan's going to get to them. Me and Colin, our producer, were talking before this game. We think Cam Jordan's going to, absolutely feast against this Buccaneers offensive line. So I love Tom Brady to get under 275 passing yards. Those are my 3 favorite plays for the day. Wish Meg was here, talking about our bets. Our bets went 2-1 yesterday, but
well, I'm here. Oh, but in all seriousness, I got one for you. I'm not getting into all the prop bets and the receiving yards and overs and unders. I got one for you as simple as this, because I am a cut and dry type of person. I went 7-0 on my NFL bets because I am the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. And I got one for you right now. And that one is take the Saints money line because Tom Brady struggles and just can't beat the Saints for some weird reason.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, he beat them once earlier this year, but before that, I don't think the Buccaneers ever beat them. Like in the past 4 years, I think the Saints are 7-1 against the Buccaneers. So the Saints own the Buccaneers. Simple as that. Take their money line plus money in a divisional matchup. I love it too. So Malik, that pretty much does it here. I think this was a great show. Absolutely great show, and it's great, Victory Monday being here in the First Star Logistics studio, doing what we love, and I appreciate, all of you guys tuning in, supporting us as always.
I also have an announcement for you guys. Next Monday, look forward to seeing a new set. Look forward to seeing a new setup because we'll be officially in our new studio starting next Monday. So be on the lookout for that. We appreciate you guys for supporting us on a regular basis, and we're just excited to show you guys this and get my voice back too.
You'll definitely get your voice back, but I have faith. I have faith that you will. But thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you guys like this video, subscribe for more, and we're going to be back throughout the entire week. We've got content coming out, YouTube Shorts, all the whole 9 yards. So thank you guys.
And make sure you guys tune in Wednesday night for State of the Jungle at 7 p.m. Eastern time.
We'll see you guys. Have a good day.